Wade Eck with MMA H.E.A.T, here with Ken Shamrock. Ken, you're headlining the Bellator 149 show in Houston. What's it like to be back, back in the cage?
Alive. I mean, I do. I love this. I mean, I enjoy it, and just to be able to be doing what I'm doing right now at this stage in my career and my life is nothing but a blessing for me. And I'm going to put hard work in, and I'm going to do what it takes for me to be able to get in there and show my best. And I'm not walking out of the ring without a win. It's not going to happen.
Now, why is it that you still want to fight? You had some time off, now you're back. What is it that drives you now?
Well, I just think that it's just being in the gym and training, being in front of the fans and hearing the excitement and the noise and just competing. I'm pretty much competitive everything, I mean, even when I had time off and I was away from it, I would do fantasy football and play golf, and it just seemed like I wanted to compete, still had the edge to want to compete. And the only thing I didn't know was whether or not my body would allow me to do it, or whether or not mentally and physically I could put the work in I need to be able to compete. And I've answered all those questions to myself, and then that is definitely a loud yes. And I think that, obviously the Kimbo fight, I made some mistakes in that, which is to be expected with a long layoff and trying to make the comeback like that. There's some mistakes that were made, and a lot of times you can make those and get away with a win. This time I made the mistake and it cost me. But that's okay. I realized that I have more that I can give, and I've got more that I can improve on. And I believe going into this fight with Royce Gracie is, I think it's going to open a lot of people's eyes at being at my age at 51. It's going to open a lot of people's eyes that what you can do at that age. I'm getting better now, even from the first fight. Just in the 2 weeks of training, I feel like I'm much farther along than I was the first time when I got back in with Kimbo. For the first 2 weeks, I started with that. I feel very confident and very, very determined to go out there and improve. What happened with Kimbo was a one-time thing and a mistake only.
Now, it's been 1995 is when you last faced Royce, 20 years ago. Why Royce? I mean, I understand you have a competitive nature. You want to get back in there and show what you've got, and you're in incredible shape. But why Royce after all these years? Why a third time?
Well, I think it goes all the way back to the first UFC where Royce's family put on the event, and they brought in fighters from everywhere. And I think that when they brought me in, I'm not necessarily sure they wanted me as a part of the show, but Art Davies and Bob Meyerowitz brought me in anyways because I was a grappler, and there was nobody else in the show that did any grappling whatsoever. They were all stand-up guys. And so I came in, and I know they bounced me around a lot, trying to find out the best place to put me. I must have moved 11 times while I was there for that first 4 days, 3 to 4 days in Denver. I didn't know where I was going to fight at on the card because they kept moving it. And then they took my shoes away the day before the fight, saying that it was a weapon. Well, they had said that you could come in and fight, no rules, no time limit, anything goes. And I was just shocked that they would do that. But then I realized once I was in the ring and I actually engaged, I understood why, because I had no footing. It was like being on ice. And so that bothered me a lot, and even confronted them on it. And, they gave up the excuses about it being a part of his tradition and how the gi wasn't a weapon. It's just a part of what they do. And I was like, well, that's my shoes are too. And they wouldn't recognize it. And so whatever, I blew it off. And I went to fight him a second time, and with my complaints, we were put on even playing field. And I remembered, and I practiced without shoes too, because I didn't know whether they were going to let me wear shoes or not wear shoes. And so I practiced with both, and it gave me a much better confidence going in and fighting him. And the second time I beat him up. And then after we had the second fight, because it seemed like every time we tried to get together to fight, he either dropped out because he was exhausted, and he wouldn't fight me in the finals because I made it to the finals, and he fought Chemo, and he ended up getting exhausted and couldn't come out for the next fight, and so he dropped out. And for me, that was the reason why I was there, not for any money or belts. And so I dropped out, and people were like, dude, because I mean it was pretty much a shoe-in for me to win. But it really, man, when you're that like focused on something, nothing matters. And it really didn't to me. I didn't care about anything else because I wanted him. And I made it really clear that when I dropped out, I'm not after anything but him. And I wanted fans to know, I wanted the organization to know, and I wanted him to know. I'm not after the money, and I'm not after the belt, I'm after you. So that played really well. Fortunately for me, it put a lot of pressure on them, and they ended up developing what they called a super fight. And I ended up getting my chance to get at him with no disadvantages of fighting a tough guy before I fight him, or how they set the card up. And I got to fight him on an even playing field. And I beat him up. And never recognized, never gave me credit, never said great fight or good strategy or good fight. Negative after what I did. My 2 years of experience against his lifetime of experience with his family and himself. And I was like, dude, that's just so disrespectful, man. I mean, wow. Yeah. It's like, that's fine. You call it what you want. Let's fight again. And let's put no time limit in, because they put the time limit in. Right. The day before the fight, they put the time limit in. And I trained for a 3-hour fight to wear him out, to beat him up, and make him drop his legs, and make him not be able to walk out of the ring. And I did that, except for we didn't get the actual finish because they put a time limit in it. And so that's really the issue here with me and Royce. It has nothing to do with him personally, nothing that has to do with him professionally. It has to do with that whole thing leading up to this, and not showing any respect towards me or any recognition that I did beat him up, or that, yeah, hey, you got the best of me. Nothing, just negative stuff. Like I laid on him, and that how you supposed to fight a guy that doesn't fight you back? And I'm going, dude, have you seen the pictures? Because to me that looks like you got beat up, and it doesn't look like you went to sleep with another dude and laid on the bed and just slept. Looked to me like you got beat up. And so I think that's the issue. It's nothing more, nothing less.
So it's fair to say that you're basically looking for recognition after all these years. It just left a bitter taste in your mouth.
Yeah, it does. It's almost like it's like you didn't get to really finish your story. Like you didn't get to tell your side of the story. Only one guy got to tell his side, and you just never got your chance to tell yours. And that's kind of how I feel. Like, they got to tell the story how they wanted to tell it, by positioning fighters and putting in time limits and taking away, weapons and what they consider weapons and not weapons, and just, kind of stack it in their favor. And I never really got a chance to rectify the situation. I never got a chance to make it even. And then when I did, they put the time limit in. And it was like, it seemed like one thing after another. They kept stacking it against me. And with my 2 years of experience, or 2.5 years of experience, going into those fights, I developed my own style, which was the ground and pound, to sit in the pocket, and when he tried to do submission, stuff the submission, and then punish him with punches. Right. And that was my strategy. And I remember him saying, well, you were just laying there. And it was like, well, if you watch the fight, every time he tried a submission hold, I stopped it, and then he got punished. And after he got punished so many times, he stopped trying too many submission holds, because every time he did, he got punished. So it was really him that controlled the pace of the fight. Because of my lack of inexperience, I had to only deal with what I knew I could deal with and how I could win the fight. And I knew by stuffing his submissions and punishing him when he went for submissions, I knew that was my best bet of winning. And it did, and it worked.
Now, on February 19th, looking forward, let's say you get your arm raised. What's next? Will that be the end of your legacy of fighting, or do you still want to continue?
Well, I mean, a lot of depends on going into this fight. I feel great. I feel pretty confident. And, I feel that I had the opportunity to make some mistakes after being out for so long. and be able to rectify those and tighten up my training and get myself mentally in a better position, prepared to go into a fight. And I think that I have everything lined up and ready to go out and do war. And I really believe that this fight was set to happen. And I believe that because of the way the Kimbo fight turned out. There's no way Kimbo should have beat me. I know that. It happened. You got to accept it. But I also look at it like maybe that was a gift. It hurts, it stings, but maybe that was something that needed to happen in order for this fight to happen. And so it's there. It's a fight I've been wanting for a very long time. It's one that's bothered me for a long time, always getting disrespected. And so now I think Royce has picked a horrible time for him to come back out of retirement and to step in the ring and fight me at this particular time. And I think come February 19th, the story will be told, the truth will be told.
Now, you mentioned the early shows in Denver. I'm actually from Denver. I was at UFC 1, which it's amazing how far the sport's evolved. What are your thoughts on, the sport of mixed martial arts and, where it's come, and who impresses you the most these days?
Well, I think just to the latter part of the question, I think McGregor is pretty impressive. He is just a guy that's confident and has all kinds of talent, and it comes natural, and even though it comes natural, he works hard, and that makes him even greater. The only thing that I can see, that I see a lot of guys fall into, is and it's a trap. I went through it, a lot of guys go through it, but becoming too much like God. And that you need to check yourself, look yourself in the mirror, realize it's just a fight. You're just fighting another guy, and you're winning, and you're great at this. But when we talk about the world and life itself, you need to check yourself.
Now, you're always known to have a big personality, and this is, I guess, my last question. You brought up Conor McGregor. Is there any advice you would give young fighters? You've been through it all. You've seen it all. If there's something that you could tell young fighters to handle their career better, what would it be?
Oh, I would definitely say enjoy yourself, no question. And how you want to enjoy yourself. But what you have to remember is it ends. It will end. And what you have right now it's like a bubble. And you see it rising and rising and rising, and it pops, and it's gone. It's gone. There's no reminiscence of anything. It's just air now. And that's how your career is going to be. You're going to rise up to the top, and you're going to pop. And you're going to have to realize it's coming. And when it does, make sure that you're ready for it, because it's a hard pill to swallow, to be that popular and that much in dominance, and it to be gone in a moment. And just make sure you're prepared, because if you're not, you could really take a tumble.
Thank you, Ken.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're watching MMA Heat.